A sacrifice must be made.
What I keep wondering is why the hell he put us on his menu.
You go ahead and call me Warden.
I do not intend to follow my former friend into insanity.
The ritual has begun.
The war, the caves. That was where it all went wrong.
I'll be seeing you.
10 years. It has been a full 10 years since Black Ops 3 first released. Black Ops 7 released in November in 2025, marking a full 10-year time gap between Black Ops 7 and Black Ops 3. Yet Black Ops 7 just seems to get nothing but hate, even in the zombies variety, where Black Ops 3 is praised for how great everyone says it was. But is that really true, and does it hold up today? For this video, I'm going to go over the general plots, the villains and how they're set up, the characters and their depth, and the overall balancing of the game. Although these games may have very different structures for how they show their plot from a narrative standpoint, the plots are generally the same ideal of these characters are going on a mission to get their souls. In Black Ops 3, Richtofen, Takeo, Dempsey, and Nikolai are going on a mission to get these souls to send them to Dr. Maxis, who is currently in the house with Dr. Monty. It is a simple enough plot to get the player interested and to want to learn more about the lore, but the problem is once you learn more into the lore and the story and the characters, it makes a little bit less sense. In between Origins and the Giant, Richtofen seemingly leaves the crew for a very long time gap, maybe even years presumably at this point. So Primus Richtofen returns in the Giant from the teleporter and ends up killing his Ultimus counterpart and presumably taking a soul, where the crew here links back up, and here at the very least it makes sense because they want to make sure to survive this, so they all group up and team up again. Onward from this point on the maps is where the story sort of takes a decline and starts to make less sense in terms of motivations for these characters. The next map that happens here is Dreisendrache, where it is Dempsey killing his Ultimus version that gets returned from the moon. But the major problem here is, why would the crew even do any of this for Richtofen at this point? He has done nothing but show up in Origins, help them escape, then disappear, then come back, and then claim to know everything. And there's this line in the cutscene where Dempsey is like, "We should never trust you, Richtofen. Never." Yeah, you shouldn't have. You don't have a singular reason to trust him other than he helped you escape on Origins. That is it. It's built like it's supposed to be some sort of shocking betrayal, as if we've spent almost any time with these characters, which we haven't. At this point, we have only known them for about 2 maps. And also, Ultimus Richtofen literally backstabs the Black Ops 1 crew by swapping bodies with Maxis in the end of the MPD. So it's not out of the ordinary for Richtofen to betray his comrades in some way. And this cutscene just really grinds my gears and disappoints me because the developers, Blundell Slop, tried so hard to make this an emotional scene when, again, we have not had any time to digest these characters and who they are as people and to really get attached to them. We have not had that time to get attached. So why should I care that this Primus Dempsey is killing his Ultimus self? You could argue I should care about the Ultimus Dempsey, but the entire point of those characters is that they were comedic. They weren't made to be taken seriously. Besides the obvious plot hole of why would these characters trust Richtofen at all to go do these things, luckily I feel like the cutscenes in Zetsubou no Shima and Guard Krovi are fixed and they actually give us good narrative insight onto the characters and onto their flaws and why we should really take those scenes seriously. However, the fact that the first half of the game really fails in this regard and just fails in the idea of emotional weight is really sad. Now let's jump into Black Ops 7 zombies. And to make it fair, I'm going to compare Maledictus, which is the name that the Ether Kitchen came up with for the new crew, which I really like, and we're going to compare Primus to Maledictus. The Maledictus crew seemingly get brought into the Dark Ether, most likely by the Warden, and have their souls, or part of their essence, get taken by the Warden. In my opinion, this is already more interesting because instead of them going to find their souls, just because Richtofen said so. They're doing it all as a team because they know they need it and they have to get them back, or else they may never fully recover and be able to take on the Warden. This more so echoes the Black Ops 1 crew, where they all seemingly hate Richtofen, but they choose to stay with him because they know they won't survive except as a team, which would make much more sense for motivation. This new version of Richtofen also does not try to act like he's some kind of good person and trying to help lead the crew in a good direction, like Ultimus or Primus Richtofen. He doesn't even bother to set up this sort of narrative that he's going to mislead them. He makes it very clear that he wants to drive Requiem apart. And I yet again think that this is much more interesting as a narrative because we have the main villain, the Warden, but also this sort of hidden behind the scenes villain that's within the crews themselves. This evil mastermind that clearly has an agenda that the crews just don't have a choice but to work with him to survive. And it's just a much less frustrating take on the characters themselves. Instead of it being like, oh, Richtofen, you say follow you, we'll follow you. This time it's like, we all hate you, but we're going to team with you because we know we won't survive and you probably won't either otherwise. Talking about the lore of the characters themselves, this game has already done a very good job of setting us up with the characters and their trauma. Seemingly Nikolai and Dempsey are the only ones we have right now, but they have very good showings of trauma and why they have flaws in their characters, such as Dempsey hating Weaver even though he does not know this version, and such as Nikolai being all depressed and guilty about his past. Anyways, I feel like that is enough comparing these different sets of crews and what I like more about Maledictus and less about Primus. So we are going to move on to the next part of the video. Now, this might sound crazy, but I really do believe that the Shadow Man is possibly one of the most overrated villains in all of fiction, and I say that proudly. Let me ask you one simple question. What does the Shadow Man even do? So, as I'm sure we all know, the Shadow Man first shows up in the map Shadows of Evil in Black Ops 3, where he manipulates our main four characters into believing that they can get rid of this curse by sacrificing their partners or people that they have attachments to. Continuing the whole trend of a manipulative voice taking advantage of people and their fear, which is not a bad thing, and I will admit Shadows of Evil does do mainly a very good job of setting up the Shadow Man as this mysterious entity and figure, but the end is where everything comes crumbling down. After the crew unlocks the Pack-a-Punch, the Shadow Man gets what he wants. And yet, somehow, the crew in the end of the Easter egg manages to defeat him. This wouldn't be such a big deal if Dr. Monty didn't talk about how powerful and how dangerous the Shadow Man was, and how this is the first map the Shadow Man makes an appearance in. How are you going to set up your villain if he loses in the first map he's even in? What makes this even worse is that the Shadow Man as a character and as a threat does not reappear until Revelations, the final map in the zombies cycle for this game. And in Black Ops 4, the written better and more interesting gameplay-wise game variant, Shadow Man does not make an appearance at all, except one tiny scene where he's referenced, and that's it. So they try in Shadows of Evil to set him up as the big grand villain and try to have this sort of payoff in Revelations where it's like, oh, the Shadow Man was here all along, see? But it just doesn't work because he has no narrative importance and he lost to 4 random civilians in a city. So he basically has absolutely no threat, in my opinion. But enough about the Shadow Man, let's move on to an actually good villain, the Warden from Black Ops 7. The Warden is a regular human that was born in the 1800s and was betrayed by his leaders during one of their final missions. Turns out that their horses were poisoned and sabotaged in hopes that the leaders would gain favor with the enemy. He ended up running away in hopes of surviving and being called a deserter, even though it was all rigged from the start. Also is revealed to be the great voice that was talked about a lot by people in Black Ops 6. So immediately we already get much more insight into his character and the stuff he has gone through to get to this point. And it also just holds more weight to who this character is, because now we know that in Black Ops 6 it was him all along. Although Modern Warfare 3 is not the best zombies content ever told, it also did a very good job at showing what the Warden was doing behind the scenes to make sure these events happen. It also was nice to have the Warden being foreshadowed and set up before his grand appearance in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Despite all this, I think the main reason the Warden is so much better than the Shadowman is because he actually plays the villain role. The Shadowman is basically used for one map and then forgotten about until the end of the game in Revelations, and he gets defeated in that map. Whereas the Warden shows up, takes something from our characters that make them have to fight back and have to go on this journey. When you really think about it, Primus did not even know the Shadowman was the bad guy until Revelations, which is kind of sad. I mean, we can really just compare their first major entries.
Is fiddled around with the summoning thingamajig and accidentally released an even bigger bastard. Someone even I didn't know was in there. The Shadow Man. The one and only original Harbinger of Doom.
I got that straight. It is a party, and y'all are the guests of honor. Or, technically, the main course.
And who the fuck are you?
I know. Y'all are confused. So was I. But as they say, this too shall pass. See y'all real soon. In the meantime, why don't y'all get to know some of the natives?
There really is some very important differences between these two cutscenes that we really need to talk about. One of the major differences is the period of the game's life cycle it's set in. The Revelation Shadowman cutscene, which by the way is the only big cutscene involving him, is on the final map of the game. It's the only time we actually get fully introduced to this character. Meanwhile, the Warden gets fully introduced within the first map that he is in. The main problem with Shadowman's cutscene is that we already know, even though he is called the original Harbinger of Doom by Dr. Monty, which is a pretty crazy statement, he lost in his first map to four random people on a map just trying to survive. And although he is treated as the main villain of Black Ops 3, this is the first time the Primus crew has come across him and had to fight him on the final map of the game. They have not had to bother with him once. Meanwhile, the Warden is not overstated by other characters, or by himself really. He simply calls himself the Warden, and he shows through the story and gameplay that he is a force to be reckoned with. For one, he steals our crew's souls very easily. Two, he clearly has some sort of control over the zombies, or when they are able to attack or not. And three, he was able to capture and imprison and enslave the Shadowsmiths, the creators of the Dark Ether itself. So realistically, the crew in bo7 has more reason why they're trying to stop the Warden, besides the fact that he is a villain. Clearly, he stole their souls. They don't have a choice. This is the only way forward, where the Black Ops 3 crew only thinks of Shadowman as a villain because he's trying to stop Dr. Monty. Anyways, I think that is enough discussing about the two different villains on these games. Let's move on to the biggest problem with Black Ops 3. bo3 is when Call of Duty Zombies core systems really changed forever, and it's all to blame of one new mechanic. The introduction of ammo mods in Black Ops 3 was one of the worst decisions ever made in Zombies history. It broke the point of wall weapons, it broke the point of the box, and it broke the challenging aspect of high rounds. Now wonder weapons seemingly did not have a reason to exist anymore other than a get out of jail free card. Black Ops 3 actively punishes you for deciding to use wonder weapons over ammo mods. And this is where the Black Ops 3 glaze truly sickens me. All the unique ways to get to round 100 and beyond suddenly disappeared, because the most optimal strategy is just to run in a circle and use dead wire over and over and over again. The uniqueness was lost per map. Every map played similarly. Some of the wonder weapon strategies remained, but for a casual playthrough to about round 50, it was pointless to use anything else but your ammo mods. Deadwire reigned supreme. Luckily, they fixed this in Black Ops 4 and beyond, but the damage to Black Ops 3 has already been done. People often like to laugh at armor and to say, oh, it makes the game too easy, when they haven't realized that Black Ops 3 has the easiest way to kill zombies in any COD Zombies game. I can completely understand preferring the old point system and the old systems in general, but you cannot tell me that it is more fun playing every Black Ops 3 match the same exact way with ammo mods instead of trying to be creative for high rounds in Black Ops 7. On maps where you can build the wonder weapon, why even bother hitting the box at all? There's several maps where you can buy the ICR or the KN-44 off the wall, and you can simply keep them until you get deadwire on them, and they're basically mini wonder wafts. And bo7's round scaling goes much higher than bo3. Past round 30-35ish in bo3, nothing's different past that point. There's simply more zombies, leading to more stale formula where Black Ops 7 becomes more and more difficult the further in you go, leading to progression and needing to change strategies. Yet again, a lot of community members and people known for loving Black Ops 3 love to say, oh, armor, what is it going to take, 50 hits to down me? But past a certain round, it only takes 4 or 5. These days, it's always custom zombies or a new zombies mod, something of such. It's never really about the base game anymore, and there's reason for that. Black Ops 3 isn't a masterpiece, and it isn't immune to time. And it's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow that the main reason Black Ops 3 is so successful is because of that open modded idea, the creativity, and because of Zombie Chronicles. If it was just Black Ops 3, the base game, it would have died so much sooner. All in all, am I saying Black Ops 3 is some garbage zombies game and horrible experience? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that I think as a community, we need to not let our nostalgia blind us anymore, because all we do is look towards the future with negativity and not give it a chance because we're too stuck on the past. Black Ops 7 Zombies is far superior to Black Ops 6 and Black Ops Cold War. And you know what? I honestly enjoy it way more than I ever enjoyed Black Ops 3. I also think Black Ops 4 is far superior to Black Ops 3 in almost every way. All in all, thank you for coming this far with me. I think that I want to stop pretending something is amazing when it's not. It has glaring flaws and things that could be improved. Even if no one else wants to act like that's true, I'll say it's true. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.